The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Earthquakes, natural disasters, and hurricanes are things that have long effects on people. And long after the news has stopped reporting them, we want to let you know there's some real issues that have to be dealt with. Coming up on this edition of Perspectives, we go front and center with one organization promoting the advancement of knowledge as well as the immediate and long-term consequences of such traumatic events. Their motto is simple: when one helps another, both become stronger. We'll talk about that on this edition of Perspectives with yours truly, Daren Jaime.
What's on your mind?
Let 'em know.
What's on your mind? What's on your mind?
Let 'em know.
Anything relevant to life, you bring it to the table. Whether you make a move solo or a movement with a stable. No fables, you speak on your decisions. Cause in the long run, it's your voice, your views, your vision. Keeping it real with many messages for you to know. This ain't radio, but DJ runs the show. Entertainment, he rocks it. Politics, he locks it. The host with the most would handle any topic. Don't forget to share your perspective with shines of light. Cause it might make a difference in someone else's life.
Make a difference.
What's your perspective?
Express what's in your heart and your mind. Share your perspective.
What's your perspective?
And hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Perspectives. I am Daren Jaime, and of course, we thank you for watching. You're invited to share in Perspectives every week, where we get together and talk about various things: politics, news, current events, sports, the issues that sometimes don't make the headlines, and then we talk about the issues that are on the headlines. And every week we have that opportunity to do that right here on BronxNet's Channel 67. We also invite you to share with us. You can get connected to us on Facebook and Twitter, and also on my professional Facebook page, Daren C. Jaime, and you can share and find out about what's happening on the show, as well as get some power perspectives to add to your week. Well, on this edition of Perspectives, we go front and center with the issue of humanitarian care. When you talk about a lot of the things that go on in our country, in our society, and in the world, a lot of things continue to plague us. As I said from the outset, earthquakes, mass destruction. We're even talking about Puerto Rico today and the issues that are going on in Puerto Rico, and how help sometimes seems to be so far away. But there are a lot of committed people who are definitely boots on the ground wanting to make a difference. I'm pleased to introduce two people from a very special organization who are doing just that, making a difference not just locally, but internationally. And so joining us right now is Dr. Ani Kalajian, who is the founder and president of MeaningfulWorld. And then also we've got Lorraine Simmons, who's the vice president of MeaningfulWorld. And they join us here on the show today, and it's good to have you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
I'm so happy to be back.
Glad to have you back. And unfortunately, the last time we had you back, we can't remember exactly what it was.
Yes.
It was a natural disaster, I believe,
Yes.
that we had you back and you actually shared with us. But it seems as though, as we talk about Puerto Rico in the intro, every time we turn around, there's a lot of tragedy and earthquakes, and people get left behind. But you guys are front and center when people and the cameras pull out and everybody goes on. You are front and center with, we're staying right here.
Exactly. And that's what we do well. We wait until the dust settles, because now, without basic human needs, people are not ready to address their emotional needs. So we wait a few months until the dust settles, and the basic needs such as water, food, and shelter is in semi-normal occurrence. Then we go in to address their emotional needs and empower them and prepare them. And then, using our 7-step model, we help them discover a new meaning, a new lesson, a new insight that they learned about themselves, which becomes a stepping stone, and they can feel more empowered as they'll be able to see the horizon in a better view.
And Lorraine, talk to us about MeaningfulWorld, and how'd you guys get started, and how'd you guys get into doing this kind of work?
Well, the organization is about 30 years old at this point, and one of the first traumas and disasters that we responded to was the earthquake in Armenia. And
1988.
1988, thank you. Yeah. So we've been going forward since then. Dr. Ani having the input of her colleagues around the world. They call her up, they email her and say, can you come and help? And of course, we respond as often as we can.
And so responding, talk about the response, because obviously you go in, and after you go in, talk about the work that you actually do once you get there, putting boots on the ground.
Yes. Well, the work starts here actually, and the work is ongoing. We prepare volunteers to learn and use the 7-step model. So we are talking the same language when we are in chaotic new world. We immerse ourselves in the culture of that country. We learn from them, and this is before we even merge ourselves there. We research about their religion, their culture. Has this kind of trauma or disaster occurred there before? How is their coping? What is their mental health structure? Do they have mind, body, spirit integrative healing? So the more we learn about the country that we're serving, the better change agents we will be.
And then you arrive in the country, right? And then you arrive in the country and you do this great work. But yet and still, when you get there, the resources are sometimes compromised. You don't have all the necessary resources because, you know, like if you talk about Puerto Rico, there's no power, this and that. How do you manage and how do you do when you have these situations? How do you make it?
I'm going to refer to Dr. Ani on that one.
It's very challenging because in many countries there are resources, lack of resources and illnesses, dangers. If you look at the U.S. State Department site, they would say don't go. Everywhere we wanted to go, DR Congo, Rwanda, Burundi, it said no, don't go. Haiti, oh, they have chikungunya, they have cholera, they have this disease or that disease, don't go. We don't pay any attention. We prepare ourselves emotionally, mentally, physically. We take extra supplements and we go there. Yes, we will have no electricity. Yes, we may not eat anything but rice and some red sauce. It looks like tomato sauce. It could be that we're not sleeping but 4 hours a night because the internet doesn't work. We have to spend long hours in the camps, and then when we return, there's no electricity. So we can't pause. We're waiting for the electricity to turn on. It may turn on about 2 or 3 hours, but we don't know when. So those are some of the challenges. And then challenges of safety. When we were working in Lebanon in 2007, the building next to us blew up, really in pieces. And we shook, our building shook like it was an earthquake. We were really scared, and we were not allowed to leave the premises. In Sri Lanka, we had the Tamils in opposing the government, and we were almost in the middle of war, fire all around us. And we didn't know what fire all around us mean. This was in 2004 when there was no, internet or Wi-Fi or G4 or whatever. So we had to, you have to be strong to be able to withstand these challenges. But our team is so strong together, we help one another, and we have collaborators, at least 12 to 20 organizations we connect with in that 6 months while we were preparing to go. Before deployment, we set up all of our contacts. We asked them what are the most important things they want us to focus on. So we gather all the information. The more research you do and the more prepared you are, all those challenges become secondary because the ultimate goal is to help people. So the people are living in those challenges. Why can't we be with them?
Well, let me take a break. When I come back, I'm going to talk to Lorraine because I want to talk to you about the response. Because when you get there, obviously, the people have a certain response to outsiders coming in. Is it a good one? Is it a positive one? Is it a negative one? We'll share about that on this edition of Perspectives. Stay with us. We're talking with Meaningful World. We'll be right back right after this.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
And I can't change, even if I tried, even if I wanted to. My love, my love, my love, she keeps me warm. 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 She keeps me warm.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
Love is kind. Love is patient.
And we're back on Perspectives, continuing our conversation with Meaningful World. And they're here with us sharing a little bit about the work that's going on. And before the break, Lorraine, I think we're talking a little bit about how you go into communities and really endear yourselves into those communities. But when you get to the community, I want to ask, what's the response like? Because outsiders coming in don't always get positive feedback, don't always get positive responses. But what's the response that you guys get?
Well, I mean, first off, when we arrive, we're very excited. So we bring that positive energy with us, and we're open, and we want to communicate with people as much as possible. So like we said, we do set up our collaborators, and most often those are the first people we see. So people we have noticed have been hungry for the information that we come to provide. They want to learn from us. They want to know how they can manage through traumas. So they're pretty open to that. Sometimes we find, though, that some of our wording with the mind-body-spirit connection might put them off a little bit. You know, in countries where they have specific religious beliefs and whatnot, they may not want to talk about Mother Earth and how we protect Mother Earth. So we have to find ways to connect with those people and how, in their belief system, how they can look at it openly. Mm-hmm. So sometimes there's a little bit of resistance, but most of the time, they're just hungry for the knowledge and hungry for the opportunity to express themselves and to really to look at how they're feeling. But once in a while, you'll get that one person or two people that say, "Oh, feelings, we don't do that here. We don't express ourselves in our culture." So we encourage them. So there are those kinds of things that we run into. But for the most part, they really are hungry for what we have to teach.
Yes, 90% I would say they're so open and they're so impressed, especially from Africa and Middle East. You left your comfortable homes, you came to this disaster, and they feel pride. So I guess we're special that you know about us. In Congo, for example, in Haiti, they were like, "Oh, you're organization affiliated with the UN. UN is ignoring us, but you love us. You come every year. This is your 12th time coming." And I said, UN doesn't dislike Haiti. We have programs at the UN all the time. In fact, we have a photo exhibit with the Haiti photos and Africa and Armenia, right, starting 23rd of October to 27th. So because some of the troops, they may have some of the peacekeeping UN members, some conflicts, they think entire UN or America doesn't like them or ignores them. So we are the educators, and we help them enlighten that we all care about them. And that makes them feel so good and so important.
It's important to have that feeling, because as we look at with a lot of people right now, feelings are important.
Yes.
And feeling, especially in tragedy, is important.
Yes.
You have to have volunteers, and I'll talk about that, who are also sensitive to the needs of that community, and you do a great job. You said, how long does it take to train your volunteers?
Well, it's one Saturday a month, and it's about 6 Saturdays. And they become Meaningful World Ambassadors for Humanitarian Relief, and they graduate at the United Nations in June. So we welcome new participants so that they can be the change agents for the future.
And so for people who want to be volunteers, what do they do?
They just call us or visit the website, meaningfulworld.com, and go under internship, send an email, their resume, 3 goals, why they want to be part of our community. And we interview them in 2 days, and they start in a week.
Wow, that's awesome.
Very fast.
It doesn't take long to get connected.
No, and the value of service is priceless. You cannot give a monetary value. People come with a lot of confusion, volunteers, to our program, and they leave so much grounded, centered, healthier, because we emphasize self-care. That's not taught anywhere in the school system. And by the way, my new book is coming up right exactly on that topic, Forget Me Not.
Awesome.
How to care for yourself, because people sometimes in the service industry, volunteerism, they think they have to sacrifice and not care for themselves, for the other. There is this kind of a guilt in them that when they take care of themselves, that it's selfish. I grew up in that culture, Armenian culture, that it was always outer directed, but they forgot the importance of self-care. Just like the airplane, you put the mask on, oxygen mask on you first then you can help thousands of more people. But when your oxygen is compromised, your mental health is compromised, you can't help anybody.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about the help, because you've done work in Armenia, you've done work in Haiti. Give a little bit about, for people who don't know, some of the work that you guys have done with boots on the ground.
Well, we've responded to 9/11, Hurricane Katrina, but we also go into schools, places where we can help people understand about self-care. So a lot of our projects that we do internationally, we can also do here in the U.S. So boots on the ground, you know, it's about teaching. It's about enlightening and empowering people.
Yes, empowerment workshops. Then we help them connect with Mother Earth and plant herbs. We brought these from my Peace and Forgiveness Garden for you. These are healing herbs. They are rosemary, sage, lavender, and they each have a purpose to balance your energetic world and your emotional world. So we help them. We have Peace and Forgiveness Gardens in Palestine, in Armenia, and started in Haiti.
Peace and Forgiveness Gardens?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. A place, a sanctuary within your home and within your communities. We're trying to now convince New York City to have Peace and Forgiveness on the rooftops. So we hope that that could start soon. But these are places because of to transform the violence, the discrimination, the inequalities that are happening amongst humanity. These are places, sanctuaries to remind us that there is a better, peaceful, loving way of resolving conflict. There are assertiveness skills, there's listening skills, there's empathy skills, there is how to improve your emotional management. See, we help people to and reinforce physical checkups every year, but we also educate people to receive mental health checkups. So we kind of, society in general, takes care of the body, and then maybe spiritually by going to some kind of a religious group and going to church, temple, or mosque. But there is the emotional. People just miss that whole important area, and the ecological, what Mother Earth we can use Mother Earth to heal ourselves naturally, no side effects, no negative effects.
Naturally is the way I like it.
Yes.
Let me take a quick break. Come back more with Meaningful World. Stay with us. We're talking about the work that they're doing and the meaningful work that they're doing around the world. Stay with us. We're coming right back right after this.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant.
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul.
Continuing our conversation with Meaningful World, and Dr. Kalajian as well as Lorraine are here, and they're sharing with us the work that goes on with Meaningful World. And we got some pictures that we're going to probably show you just for right now and give you an idea of some of the work that Meaningful World has done and the things that they're doing both locally as well as internationally. And we'll take a look at a couple of them, and they'll give us an explanation about them. But while we're talking real quickly, talk to us. Well, here's one right here. Let's go. I'll do this. So talk to us about what we're seeing right here.
Children in Armenia.
Here we are in Armenia and in the orphanage children's centers, and we're helping them to manage their emotions, to learn how to manage. So they're all excited to raise their hands to share their feelings. And we help them because a lot of times, even here, when you ask people, what are your feelings, there are really 4 feelings people are readily ready to say. Sad, mad, angry, and happy. But that doesn't help us in terms of establishing health and managing our emotions. We need to know what's under the anger, what's fueling the anger, what's causing the anger. And here they are sharing their frustrations and disappointments, etc.
I know we got a couple more pictures we'll take a look at, and we'll see if we can get those up and give you some. Oh, here we go.
The children expressing themselves.
Oh, yes. Here we are in Haiti in another orphanage, and children are drawing their feelings and a happy place, a safe place that they imagine themselves in. We help them so that in spite of the difficulties they have in the orphanage where they get 1 meal a day, and we're helping them so they can get 2 meals a day.
Police department, soul surfing.
And here we're training the police department in soul surfing. That's one of the unique.
Train the police department?
Yes.
Okay.
The police and the Coast Guard in helping the community, because when the police are not able to manage their own anger and their emotions, they're going to spill it out to other people, and they will irritate and trigger more violence in the community. So we can do a lot of training to help them be the change by de-escalating arguments or fights.
So when we talk about your organization, what makes it so unique?
Well, one is that we're all volunteer. Nobody gets paid. It's part of passion and heart. Second is that we are integrative. That means we integrate mind, body, spirit, but the uniqueness is that we integrate ecology, Mother Earth. We have a specific, any emotional issue you have, we have a equal and specific ecological thing you can do in Mother Earth. Let's say go and see the sunrise when you are feeling so hopeless, when you are feeling like that someone, let's say, I'm sorry, if they had gone through rape or some horrific experience, they can go in the ocean or a lake and cleanse themselves with the water, with the natural water. So, or in Haiti, we learned if you are too stressed and your blood pressure is high, you sit under an almond tree. And I did. It was so relaxing. I didn't know when I sat under it, and I was enjoying it. And someone came and said, you know, my grandmother said this almond tree, and any almond tree, it's good if you have high blood pressure or you're under stress. Wow. And in fact, it's very true. So we underuse and abuse Mother Nature. We cut trees without any knowledge that that could be our healing journey. The other thing we are unique is that we are connected with the UN. We receive a lot of first-hand information. We connect with 198 countries. We have programs at the UN to educate the diplomats. I taught a forgiveness course at the UN for the diplomats. And you know, a lot of the ambassadors refused to come, the more developed countries. But I was happy to see a lot of our African ambassadors came. They wanted to learn because there's so much violence that goes on there. And it's generational. See, that's another unique thing about us. We focus and educate people about generational trauma. Generational trauma of the slavery, of the Ottoman Turkish genocide, of Holocaust. All this is transmitted through our DNA, and it goes through 14 generations. Of course, indigenous people knew about this authentically, but we are so resistant to these kinds of wisdom that comes from indigenous people.
We want to tell people, if you want to find out more about Meaningful World, certainly you can go to www.meaningfulworld.com. That's the website, and find out more information about how you can be a part of supporting this wonderful organization. If you want to volunteer, as we said, you know, there's some classes that you can take, and you can get in touch with Lorraine or Dr. Ani, and they can make sure that you get hooked up with an organization that's really making a difference. And we love having you guys here. Our time is up for today's show, but thank you so much for coming and being with us, sharing with us about A Meaningful World. And you know, every time I hear the work that's going on and the difference makers, it really warms my heart, because there's so many people out there that's doing the opposite, but you guys are really boots on the ground making a difference. Thank you so much for coming.
Daren, last quotation. Shared sorrow is half sorrow, while shared joy is double joy.
Wow. I'll tweet that one. Dr. Kalajian, thank you so much for sharing with us. And listen, thank you for sharing with us. You've been watching Perspectives here, and we invite you every week to watch Perspectives. Listen, until the next time we meet, stay safe and share your perspective with somebody else. It just might make a difference in someone else's life. Daren Jaime say, take care and God bless.
Whether you make a move solo or a movement with a stable, no fables, you speak on your decisions, because in the long run it's your voice, your views, your vision, keeping it real with many messages for you to know. This ain't radio, but DJ runs the show. Entertainment, he rocks it. Politics, he locks it. The host with the most would handle any topic.